I'm just going to read an extract from a book that I very much enjoyed. The book is called There Are Rivers in the Sky, and it's by an author called Elif Shafak, Elif, and then Shafak. Elif Shafak. And it's about rivers, particularly the river Tigris in very olden times and modern times, and also the river Thames. But the idea of the book is about water. And this is the start of the book, about a little raindrop. So I thought I'd read a little part of this first chapter just out of interest. And it does conjure up some wonderful ideas in your mind. It is an early summer afternoon in Nineveh, the sky swollen with impending rain. A strange, sullen silence has settled on the city. The birds have not sung since the dawn. The butterflies and dragonflies have gone into hiding. The frogs have abandoned their breeding grounds. The geese have fallen quiet, sensing danger. Even the sheep have been muted, urinating frequently, overcome by fear. The air smells different, a sharp, salty scent. All day, dark shadows have been amassing on the horizon, like an enemy army that has set up camp, gathering force. They look remarkably still and calm from a distance, but that is an optical illusion, a trick of the eye. The clouds are rolling steadily closer, propelled by a forceful wind determined to drench the world and shape it anew. In this region, where the summers are long and scorching, the rivers mercurial and unforgiving, and the memory of the last flood not yet washed away, water is both the harbinger of life and the messenger of death. Nineveh is a place like no other, the world's largest and wealthiest city, built on a spacious plain on the eastern bank of the Tigris. It is so close to the river that at night babies are hushed to sleep, not by a lullaby, but by the sound of the waves lapping at the shoreline. This is the capital of a mighty empire, a citadel protected by solid towers, stately battlements, defensive moats, 45 bastions, and colossal walls, each rising 90 feet or more. With a population of 175,000 souls, it is an urban gem at the junction of the prosperous highlands of the north and the fertile lowlands of Chaldea and Babylonia to the south. The year is sometime in the 640s BCE, and this ancient region, which is lush with perfumed gardens, bubbling fountains and irrigation canals, but which will be forgotten and dismissed by future generations as an arid desert and abject wasteland, is Mesopotamia. One of the clouds advancing towards the city this afternoon is bigger and darker than the others, and more impatient. It scuds across the sky's vast canopy towards its destination. Once there, it slows to a halt and floats suspended thousands of feet above a majestic building, adorned with cedar columns, pillared porticos, and monumental statues. This is the North Palace, where the king resides in all his might and glory. The mass of condensed vapour settles over the imperial residence, casting a shadow. For unlike humans, water has no regard for social status or royal titles. Dangling from the edge of the storm cloud is a single drop of rain, no bigger than a bean and lighter than a chickpea. For a while it quivers precariously, small, spherical and scared. How frightening it is to observe the earth below opening like a lonely lotus flower. Not that this will be the first time. It has made the journey before, ascending to the sky, descending to terra firma, and rising heavenwards again, and yet it still finds the fall terrifying. Remember that drop, inconsequential though it may be compared with the magnitude of the universe. Inside its miniature orb, it holds the secret of infinity, a story uniquely its own. When it finally musters the courage, it leaps into the ether. It is falling now, faster. Gravity always helps. From a height of 3,080 feet, it races down. Only 3 minutes until it reaches the ground. The king is called Ashurnapal, and he is in his palace. Meanwhile, the raindrop is about to arrive on earth. As it gets closer to the ground for an instant, it feels so free and weightless, it could almost alight anywhere it pleases. To its left is a tall, branchless tree, a date palm, whose fronds would make a lovely landing place. To its right is an irrigation canal running through a farmer's field where it would be welcome, helping this year's harvest grow. It could also come to rest on the stairs of a nearby ziggurat, dedicated to Ishtar, the deity of love, sex, beauty, passion and war, as well as thunderstorms. That would be an apt destination. Dithering, the droplet has still not resolved to where to fall, but that does not matter, for the wind will decide in its stead. A sudden gust lifts and carries its tiny mass straight towards the man standing on a terrace nearby. A heartbeat later, the king feels something wet plop onto his scalp and nestle in his hair. Annoyed, he tries to wipe it away with one hand, but his ornate headdress is in the way. Frowning ever so slightly, he glances up at the sky one more time. Just as it starts to pour in earnest, he turns his back to the view and retreats to the safety of his palace. The raindrop shivers. With no windows or braziers, the room is so cold that it fears it could harden into ice crystals. Given that it has only recently changed from vapour to liquid, it has no desire to solidify just yet, not before making the most of this new phase of its life. But that is not the only reason why the droplet trembles. This place is unsettling. Neither of this world nor of the netherworld, a lacuna betwixt the earthly and the unearthly, somewhere midway between things that are plain to see and things that are not only invisible, but are meant to remain that way. That's my starting extraction from the book There Are Rivers in the Sky. And that little section about a raindrop, I was entranced and carried on reading the book to the very end. I hope you enjoyed that little taster.